Good morning, gang. Happy Thursday morning. So let's recap the last 5 weeks, roughly. Okay, a little more than a month. 5 weeks ago, we had a fire start in Maui. Killed, estimates are around 1,000 people so far. Destroyed millions of dollars worth of homes, yada, 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 right? We all know about that. 2 weeks ago, we had Hurricane Idalia hit Florida. Millions, if not billions of dollars worth of damage, flooding, the whole 9 yards. This weekend, we're expecting to see Hurricane Lee hit New England, right? Or natural disasters, inevitably property damage, hopefully no deaths or anything of the sort. But this is what we get. This isn't climate change. This is, let's see, government plans, for one, and the other two, Mother Nature. And our responsibility is to come out the other end, okay? To survive it, to rebuild, and go on, just like humans have done since the beginning of time. Now, for, the last 100 years or so, maybe not that long, but long enough, we have had FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, that has tried to help displaced people at least get water, get food, get shelter, right? Basic necessities in life. They're not that good at it, but they do it anyway, okay? And at least it's something that we count on to be there in case the world goes nuts. Let's talk about how well FEMA did during Katrina. Okay, we can count. Let's talk about water in Maui. We could talk about a whole bunch of failures of FEMA. But here's the problem. Okay, FEMA needs money, and where does that money come from? That money comes from the government. Where does the government get money from? That comes from taxes. Where do taxes come from? You and me. Okay. So inevitably, it is our money that, through a bunch of hands out that stuff a couple extra dollars in their pocket, the money eventually gets to the people that have been struck by a natural disaster. Well, the problem we have now is that money is running out. And FEMA's going, there's too many disasters. We can't handle them all. Now, granted, this is going to be the third one this weekend, or in 5 weeks that hits this weekend. Let's hope it doesn't wallop New England too bad. The problem is, because of that, FEMA is now restricting disaster spending because they're running out of money. Okay, Politico talked about this last week. Well, there's a little more to the story than they're telling you. What FEMA has now created is something called Community Disaster Resilience Zones. Okay? And those are designed to help the federal government determine which areas are most needy of federal resources, okay? Limited resources, okay? So back in 2022, December last year, Congress directed FEMA to come up with something called through the Community Disaster Resilience Zones Act, to come up with an idea of what areas would be should the money be most directed toward, okay? So I don't know, would Mississippi be one of those? Would Kentucky be one of those as, tornadoes hit or anything like that? I don't know, California and wildfires, pick anywhere in the West in the last few years in wildfires, okay? So give you an idea of what that plan is. This plan goes right back into the idea of smart cities. Well, let's see. If these areas are going to have the most chance of hitting disasters, let's move the people out of those areas and let's move them somewhere else so that that money that keeps coming in, a few more dollars can slide into my pocket because we don't have to spend it as much. Okay? They're certainly not going to go, this is the area where we want to put more people because disasters are more likely to happen. It might be worthwhile for everybody to look on the FEMA website and see if you are in a community's disaster resilience zone. Okay. So what does this tie into? Well, this ties into herding everybody into smart cities again. And again, this is putting us all in a sardine can, living on top of each other. And, oh, well, you're safe here, right? Okay. Because all those people in 9/11 in big, tall buildings, they were real safe too, right? Hey, the buildings can handle anything, regardless of what you think took the buildings down. Okay. The buildings came down. So let's take a look at this. So smart cities again. So we get into this, and I've mentioned this before. 15 minutes. You can walk 15 minutes anywhere. Do a 15-minute perimeter around your house. And that's hypothetically saying you live smack dab in the center of the 15-minute city. You could live on the very end, and it's 30 minutes to get to the other side. No, it's only half. So literally do a circle 7.5 minutes around your house. That's the size of 15-minute city can be. How far can you walk in 7.5 minutes? The fastest runner in the world can't run 2 miles, or it can't run a mile in 4 minutes. Therefore, there's no way to run in 2 in 7.5. So you're probably figuring 2 miles, a 2-mile radius city. How much can you fit in a 2-mile radius? Can you fit a grocery store? Yeah. Can you fit a couple of doctor's offices? Yeah. Okay. Can you fit your place of employment? Where's that factory going to be? Okay. Where's the local auto plant going to be? They're not going to fit it in. Now, remember how these things work. You get so many credits to use a year to go outside your 15-minute city. Well, that's where my job is. Well, you don't need that job anymore. We have people that just live in the 15-minute city with the auto plant, and those are all the people that work there. Okay, it's kind of like China, where you get the Chinese people working in the sweatshops making iPhones, okay, whatever. They sleep in the factory. Okay, they have a little room in the factory they sleep in, and this is it. And they get 6 weeks vacation a year or something like that to go home to their families. And other than that, their entire life is spent inside that building. Okay. But so you take it a step further. Well, let's say, like 50% of the United States, you divorce, and your ex lives in the next 15-minute city over. Let's say the nearest hospital is in the next 15-minute city over. And let's say, pick something else. Your job, okay, is in the next 15-minute city over. Well, you only get so many credits to cross the border. Okay, well, I'm going to cross to go to my job. But now I need to go to the doctor. Well, if I go to the doctor, that's going to use one of my credits to cross the border. So that means either I go to the doctor and skip a day of work, or go to the doctor and maybe skip a visitation with my kids, okay? Because God knows the ex isn't going to use one of hers to bring, or use one of his, either way, to bring the kids over to you. So, that's the only way that's going to happen. These are the things that you look at with these idiotic smart cities, okay? And climate change is now being used as an excuse to funnel us into these smart cities. Okay? When you get to the point that everybody's got to be net zero, that all resources, that electricity, that gasoline, that food, that water, that housing, that heat is going to be either allocated and restricted to a person or couple or a family or whatever. You're only allowed so much, okay? They're going to start cracking down. And you go, well, I have my house, screw 'em. It's kind of my answer, okay? I have my house, screw 'em, okay? So what are they going to do? They're going to try to force everybody to make all these upgrades, kind of like what's going on already in Europe, guys. Okay? Upgrades on your house, on your heating, on your air conditioning, or whatever, to meet all these requirements for energy consumption. And if you don't, okay, put in new electrical panels, add solar panels all over your house, whatever it would be, disconnect, turn off your gas stove, your gas water heater, whatever. They're going to determine your house as unfit for occupancy, okay? Condemned. Okay? Again, a bunch of things are going to be ruled illegal to use. A gas dryer or whatever in a house, okay? And you've got to replace all these with electric. What are you going to do? Okay? How about simple things like you got single pane windows in your house? Got to have double pane windows, got to be more energy efficient. Go around the United States and look at all the manufactured homes or all the mobile homes or that people live in, okay? None of those are going to meet any of these criteria, okay, because they don't have the insulation for it. So all those houses will be deemed unfit for occupancy. To give you an idea how far this is already happening, okay, the UK, Great Britain, okay, uses heat-seeking equipment or heat-sensing equipment on airplanes and flies over houses to see how much energy is being released from that house. And then they get a hold of the people and tell them, you've got too much fuel loss, your natural resource losses from your house. You need to do something about it. Many times you guys have probably seen the commercials. This has been going on for 20 years, where a company will walk into your house with a heat sensing gun or something, and they can see where all the cold air is escaping from around the doors or around the windows or anything, and they tell you this is where you need to seal. Imagine that on every house, and if you don't do it, they condemn your house. Okay. This is what we're going to, and these FEMA plans, they're resilience zones are how they're going to do it. Oh, you know what? We determined your area is prone to fires, so you have to leave. We determined your area is prone to hurricanes, so you have to leave. We determined your area is prone to tornadoes or floods or whatever, so you have to leave. But this is where you'll go. These aren't smart cities. The reason they named them smart cities is it doesn't sound as threatening as what they really are. Concentration camps. Pinball out.